welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Ari and this is Baloo. If you've seen my videos, you know he does like in and out appearances. I think he wants a treat right now that I have in here. Anyway, with basically fall wedding season coming up, we have We have quite a few weddings coming up this fall, starting with October. We have 2 weddings, in November another wedding, and just so on until pretty much the holidays. Well, with that being said, I just started thinking about all the do's and don'ts for weddings. Believe it or not, there are quite a few don'ts. It's not just a party. It's not just, you know, dressing up and having a good time. It should be, but there are a few things you need to consider, especially when it comes to the bride and groom. There's some things that they do put on an amazing party and stuff for you. Well, not for you, but you know what I mean. But at the same time, there are quite a few things you need to respect and take into account before heading into whether it be a family member or a friend's wedding. So there are pretty much all of them are big don'ts. There are a couple that I'm gonna mention as do's, but mainly I want to focus on the big no-nos of being a wedding guest. Okay, ladies, this is pretty much the biggest no-no when it comes to a wedding. Don't wear white. It doesn't matter if you think, oh, it's short, or it's cocktail, or whatever, or the bride doesn't know me. Don't wear white. You don't want to be that wedding guest that everybody says, oh my gosh, she's wearing white. Just avoid it. I mean, there's no way around it. And honestly, I remember in our wedding, I didn't really notice it, but there was I did hear some people saying like, oh, that girl's wearing white. I don't know. I really didn't care because I didn't know her. She was like a guest of a guest or something like that. But still, it's still one of those that you're gonna be talked about and not in a good way. Also color related, I would say avoid anything past very, very light or silver or gray, especially silver, especially if you are very close to the bride. So this happened one time. Thankfully, I wasn't close to the bride or anything like that, but I wore a silver sequin dress. And after the wedding, whatever, and I saw some pictures, and literally in pictures with flash, with the lighting, whatever, it looked white. So this has happened with bridal parties when one of the bridesmaids either wear silver or maybe the mother of the bride, and in photos standing next to the bride, you might look like you're wearing white. So definitely try, if you're close to the bride, maybe avoid that. If you're not, then that's not a big deal, but I still think you want to test your dresses in different lighting to see that you're not wearing white. Also, some brides might not like you wearing a lot of like very light colors. Same, this mostly goes if you're very close to the bride or groom and if you're going to be photographed next to them, because then again with the camera flash or things like that, it might look like you're actually wearing white next to the bride. Another big one would be respect the bride and groom. This happens a lot when you this happens a lot with guests that have kids and with weddings there are no kids allowed. Believe me, when the invitation says no kids allowed, it's not that the bride and groom are being picky, they're not being rude, it doesn't go like that. We actually said no kids allowed because it was an evening wedding. It was black tie, downtown Mexico City. It was just, there's weddings that go on longer in the night, and we decided that we didn't want any kids, any kids there. A lot of our family members, most of our friends and family didn't have kids, so if we had said kids, it would have been like 1 or 2 single kids just sitting around. And you have to respect that sometimes it's not in the wedding's budget to put up a kids menu or put up a kids table or something like that, and then there might just be a different vibe. I know a lot of my friends and family that have gotten married during the day, maybe like an outdoor wedding, that is a more kid-friendly wedding. But especially if it's an evening wedding, also take into account that probably your kid is gonna get tired and eventually will wanna leave or, you know, be a little bit fussy, which is normal. Don't take this the wrong way, it's just normal. So maybe, you know, just respect what the bride and groom are saying. Also, if they said no kids and for some reason your babysitter canceled, at least let them know. Don't show up unexpected with your kids, because then it does throw them off. It throws the whole wedding off, because where do you sit them? They might not be able to sit your kid next to you, and that just throws everybody off. So if anything happens and you know your babysitter cancels or whatever, at least call them ahead and say like, hey, this happened, do you really mind? I need to bring my kid or something. Okay, another big no-no. I think for me these are all big no-nos, but anyway, don't be the party drunk. Okay, so this funny story at our wedding, I have no idea who this guy was. I think he was a friend of a friend. Like he decided to bring, you know, instead of bringing a date, he brought a friend. I had no idea who this guy was, and he was trying to dance with all the girls at the party. He is in almost every single scene in our wedding video. I have no idea who he is to this day. I do not know his name. It took me a while to track down who he was, you know, who's +1 or something like that. But it is kind of annoying. Thankfully, he did not ruin any of our very important photos or anything like that. But I have known of people that are so drunk that they decide to, you know, and they can mess up with someone's night. They can even, not even photos or video, they can actually mess up something at the wedding. So don't be that person, because believe me, maybe you think you're so drunk, you're having the best time of your life, but everybody is talking about you, everybody's noticing you, and you'll probably be that girl or guy that pretty much passed out during the wedding. So don't be that guy. Yes, have a good time, but, you know, drink responsibly. Don't be a picky guest. I've known some guests to be, especially when they're family friends or they might have issues with some of the other guests or whatever, they start calling up either the bride and groom or maybe the mother of the bride or whoever's organizing and asking to be sit next to somebody or to avoid being sit next to someone else or something like that. I mean, don't be that person. You know, most likely close with the bride or groom or with the families getting involved in the wedding, they'll most likely know that you either have an issue, they'll sit you with people that you like, but don't be that person like, oh, I don't want to sit with this girl or I don't want to sit with this guy. I mean, whoever's getting married has already have so much going on, so much on their plate. Like the last thing they need is to be fixing seating arrangements because you have an issue with your, I don't know, high school boyfriend's ex-friend, whatever, you know, just, you know. That also goes to if you have any dietary needs, preferences or whatever. Usually a wedding will have different options. You'll have your main dish and then there is sometimes either a vegan option or instead of a fish, you'll have a salad or a chicken or something, I don't know. So you don't have to be overbearing about like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, oh, I'm this and that, you know, and again, it's like adding extra stress to the bride and groom, to the bridal party, just because you're trying to please everybody, it's gonna be really hard to do. So another don't for ladies, don't be over sexy, okay? This especially goes for younger girls. I feel sometimes going to the wedding, when you're younger, you wanna like, you know, you wanna be sexy, you wanna be the hottest girl in the party, whatever. And I have been to weddings that you see this girl walking by and everybody's talking about her, and not in a good way because she's pretty much showing everything upstairs and downstairs. So keep in mind that a lot of times weddings are religious, whichever your religion is. So you may have to go into a church or a synagogue or a temple or whatever your religion is, and that might be very, very inappropriate. You don't need to overshow, you don't need to be over sexy in a bad way. They're sexy, like sexy, chic, elegant, whatever. You don't have to be the bad kind of sexy. Comes with a do also. When you find your outfit, again, kind of mixed with the color of your dress and whatever. If you're doubting how sheer your dress might be, how short it might be, what color it might photograph like, test it out. You know, go around your house, walk in your dress, sit down, see if it's too short or if you bend down and your boobs fall out, definitely not an option. Test out maybe if you think your dress is a little bit sheer. Some colors, maybe you might be able to see this. This actually happened in a friend's, I think it was a graduation party. They had no idea this girl was wearing a black dress. She had no idea, and when we all saw the photos, everything was see-through. I mean, thankfully she was wearing underwear. So if you are doubting whether your outfit or your dress is a little bit sheer, test it out. You know, take some photos, maybe flash, whatever, and test that out. Also test out if you're wearing a gray, silver, very light color dress. Again, test it if it photographs white. Emergency happens, so I mean, whatever. But if you think you're going that way, if you're uncertain about your outfit, definitely test it beforehand. Never, never, never crash a wedding. It doesn't matter if a friend tells you don't worry, come over. So don't crash a wedding. Don't tell a friend to crash a wedding. I know this used to happen a lot more when you're younger and you know you get invited to a wedding and they tell you like, yeah, you can come over after dinner or whatever. Don't do that. A lot of times it's just plain rude to do that. Just show up unannounced, uninvited to a wedding, and then you could get the bride and groom or the organizers in trouble because a lot of times the venues are set for specific numbers. So if you start like inviting people or crashing weddings, you can really put at risk whatever they have going on, maybe even the contract, anything. And yeah, so that's just a big, like, excuse the word, whatever, but I'm gonna say it's a very tacky move to crash a wedding. Unless you are invited physically, invitation, or the bride and groom invite you, or you are, you know, on the list, don't crash a wedding. There might be a reason why they don't want you there. So. The thing that I feel is kind of rude is for people to leave the wedding right after dinner. So it doesn't matter, there might be an issue, you might be feeling sick, you might have a kid at home, but if you can help it, if you're just tired or something going on, if you can help it, stay at least until the first dance, or at least dance one song or something, so that it doesn't look like you were just there for the food. I mean, I think we've all been there, that you have to leave right after dinner. Again, you might have been well, you might be sick, something comes up or emergency or something, but don't just like, oh, okay, I really don't want to be here, so I'm just gonna eat and leave. If you really do have to leave, something comes up, and you can find the bride and groom, do let them know and say like, hey, we're so sorry we had to leave, but something came up or this and that happened and we just can't stay. And they'll understand, you know, but at least you took the time to explain to them why you had to leave. You just didn't up and go and like, oh yeah, free food. It comes with a funny story, and that happened to me. And after that, I always try to do this. If you're going to the wedding and you have your dress in a specific color and whatnot, if you can, try and ask the bride what color the bridesmaids are wearing. So this happened to me. I bought this really pretty purple dress and I figured nobody's gonna be wearing purple. Whatever, show up to the wedding. Actually showed up a little bit late to the ceremony. So we walk in, we're sitting down, and I start noticing that the photographers and people are telling me like, go to the front. I'm like, what are these people talking about? I was like, what's going on, whatever. And I look up, the entire bridal party, I have no idea how this happened. The entire bridal party, bridesmaids, sorry, the bridesmaids were wearing the exact same color, not kidding you, shade, everything, as the dress I was wearing. So after that, I spent the whole night being chased after photographers letting me know that, you know, the bride wanted photos with the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids were wanted for I don't know what, and this and that. So I basically dodged every single photographer or wedding planner, or because they thought I was part of the wedding. It's a little bit uncomfortable, everybody, whatever. So if you can if you have the opportunity to ask the bride, you know, what the color scheme is gonna be, do it. If you're one of the bridesmaids and whatever. Another this is something we learned because of our wedding, respect in general what the decisions of the bride and groom are during a wedding, but respect their wedding registry. So we got married in Mexico City because that's where my family's from. Arturo's family is also from Mexico, not from Mexico City, but we got married there, but we were already planning and everything to live in San Antonio. So our wedding registry was online for things that could be shipped directly to us, because we knew if somebody, you know, gifted us with furniture and it arrived to Mexico, it would have been such a pain having to bring it over. We did have some people that, you know, maybe they were older, they didn't know how to use online shopping or something, that they gifted us a couple things, and what happens, A, we really couldn't bring it over, B, we already had one of those gifts that they gave us. So we go through the registry. There's a reason why we make a registry, and just respect that, because if you just think like, oh, I'm just gonna get them this, they might already have it and end up having to return it. They might be in a situation like us that we really couldn't, it was just an inconvenience having to travel with boxes or ship boxes, and it ends up being more expensive. Unless you're very, very close friends like we have, they gave us like really personal gifts or something that you end up, but if it's just something that it's for your home or whatever, just go through the registry. And well, yeah, just to finish off, have fun, join in on the party. Don't be like the party pooper that, again, I'm just here for the food and the drinks and then I'm leaving. You know, join in, have fun with the bride and groom, and just, yeah, enjoy it, have fun. But basically, those are some of my big no-nos when it comes to being a guest at a wedding. Again, like I say, we have a few weddings coming up, so I figured this might be like just a fun, cool video to do. If you like this video, I hope these tips are helpful for this upcoming wedding season. Like always, if you like this video, if you like this channel, don't forget to comment, subscribe, share it. Let me know if you have other big no-nos or things to take into account when going to a wedding. You can always follow me on Instagram, on social media at The Toasty Life for more everyday stuff, and I hope to see you guys again here soon. Bye!